Hey. That's fine, yeah.
1859.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, good evening. This is the annual meeting of the Council as Trustee of Sandwich Tollbridge Fund. We've got a fairly lengthy agenda in terms of items, but I'm hoping a number of these, because they're reconfirmations of documents, policies, procedures, hopefully we can get through it at a reasonable pace, but we shall see. So first of all, Town Clerk, are there any apologies for absence received?
So, Mr. Mayor, we have an apology from Councillor Paul Carr to say he will be attending, but he will be late.
Okay. And Councillor Gray?
Gray, sorry, yeah, for travel commitment.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda this evening. Are there any? No, thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 3, and this is minutes of the previous meeting and committees. So I'll try and come up into 3 sections. So the first one is to approve the minutes of the ordinary meeting of STC as trustee of Sandwich Tollbridge Fund, held on 17th March 2025, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in the agenda, and that's attachment 1A. Are there any comments on those minutes? And if not, can somebody propose them? Councillor Pennington. Somebody second. Councillor Fortescue. Take a vote on those.
It's 2, 3. 3 abstentions. Yeah, 3 abstentions.
Thank you. So moving on to number 2, to receive the minutes of the Finance Committee meetings held on the 19th of February 2025, 12th of March 2025, and the 16th of April 2025. That's attachments 1B, 1C, 1D. Any comments on any of those minutes? No? Anybody have to propose? Councillor Ungerson and seconding Councillor Breen. And vote.
2 abstentions.
I have to abstain on 2 of them, so take your pick.
Which one would you like to abstain on? Which one would you like?
D and E.
Abstaining on D and E.
D and E, otherwise okay.
Thank you. Details always good.
You get more tonight.
Not too much, I hope. And finally, to receive the minutes of the Museum and Archives Committee extraordinary meeting held on the 7th of March, attachment 1E. Councillor Ripley is proposing. Councillor Pennington seconding. And a vote.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 abstentions.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 4, public participation. 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect to the business on the agenda and other matters if time permits. Do we have any requests tonight?
No requests, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to agenda item 5, we have payment schedules to work through. There's a lot of attachments on this, so I will, and these have all been to the STBF Finance Committee for people to be aware of, but that doesn't preclude any comments in this meeting. So 5A, we've got a request to receive the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund payment schedules for mid-February, end of February, end of March, mid-March, and the end of April. Do we have any comments on any of those payment schedules? And if not, would somebody like to propose? Councillor Black and Councillor Tomlin seconding, I think. Yep. And a vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
At 5B, we've got a request to receive a Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall payment schedules for the end of January, mid-February, end of February, mid-March, end of March, mid-April, end of April, mid-May, and end of May. Do we have any comments on any of those payment schedules? No. Do we have a proposer? Councillor Marie, and a seconder, Councillor Morehouse. Vote.
That's everybody.
Okay. And finally, at 5C, we are asked to receive the Museum and Archives payment schedules for the end of January, mid-February, end of February, end of March, end of April, mid-May, and end of May 2025. Now, the end of May is a new payment schedule, so I'm just flagging that up. Whilst the others have been to the committee, the final one hasn't. Do we have any comments on any of these? Propose, Councillor Morris and Councillor Marie. Robert. Thank you.
So was that Councillor Black that proposed?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
No, it was Councillor Morehouse.
Oh, Councillor
Sorry.
Morris, thank you.
They're very similar, but
Thank you.
Similar.
Sorry, and Councillor Marie, you second.
I second,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay.
Yep.
Agenda item 6. So I'll section these out into 3 chunks. The first section is the cash book and bank reconciliations, and that's attachments 3A to 3D. And we're asked to receive the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund cash book as of 31st of March 2025, to receive a bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund as of 31st of March 2025, to receive a bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall as of the 31st of March 2025, and finally to receive a bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Museum as of 31st of March 25. And again, all of these have been to committee for review. Any comments? No. Councillor Pennington has proposed and Councillor Marie has seconded.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. The next section is the budget variance report, and that's to receive budget variance report for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund as of the 31st of March 2025, to receive the budget variance report for the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall as of the same date, and finally to receive the budget variance report for the museum as of the same date, and they are attachments 3E to 3G. Any comments? Moved from Councillor Morehouse and Councillor
Councillor
Bree.
Bree.
Sorry, Councillor Bree.
Yeah, excuse me, but I've raised a comment with
Yep.
the RFO about attachment 3, which is to do with the contribution from Sandwich Tollbridge Fund of £53,000, which is showing an actual net. And I understand there's a glitch on the system, which is going to be investigated.
Yes.
Okay.
So I look forward to hearing the outcome.
And could I just check which attachment does that refer to?
That's attachment 3F.
3F, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's noted, and response will come back to Councillor Green in due course.
Yep.
Okay. And I did have a proposer.
Second.
I did. Certainly had Councillor Marie. And who proposed it? Was it Councillor
Councillor
Pennington?
Pennington.
Yeah. And a vote on those. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, under this agenda item, we have the investments to look at. So it's to receive and approve the Quilter Cheviot Assets Management Monthly Investment Report as of the end of April 2025, and that's attachment 3H. Do we have any comments on this? Councillor Anderson.
Yes, it's my usual comment, and I'm just trying to find it, but the comparative data is really, again, very unimpressive for the whole year. So the 30th of April 24 to the 30th of April 25, the total return was 3.4%. But if you look at the benchmark, which is their own charity benchmark, the return is 5.9% over the same period. So I do wonder what is going on. That's my first comment.
Yeah.
The second comment is that I think at the last meeting looked up the website of the Charities Aid Foundation,
Yeah.
which I strongly recommend for all sorts of reasons to this country, because we are running a charity. And they offer a rather better return than we're getting. I know that Councillor Green has been concerned with looking at other possibilities, so which he would offer higher returns. So I would like that minuted.
So what I would say is where we discussed it, Councillor Angerson was at the Finance Committee as opposed to here. It is on the agenda for this Wednesday for us to discuss in the round whatever has been found out since the last meeting and where we want to go with it. So it is an agenda item.
But that's the finance and general purpose.
The STBF finance meeting, which follows the so it's definitely an agenda item. So you're right. We have discussed it. It was within that forum, but I think there's a question, a sensible question around the benchmark. If it's possible for the town clerk to have an answer for the committee on Wednesday about the disparity between the two figures, and there may be an explanation. Well, I'm sure there will be, but it would be good to have it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there seems to be a dagger beside it, but I couldn't find it. Oh, hang on.
That's Sword of Damocles, is it?
Yes, I can see what the dagger is referring to, but it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so we can feed that into Wednesday's discussion. And if you have got the ability or have had the ability to speak to the CAF, it would be helpful to have that stated on Wednesday.
I don't think it's necessary to speak to them. I think it's necessary just to look at their website.
Yeah, which I think a number of us did. Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Murray.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Just quick to clarify, are we due a visit from Quilter Chevier? Normally they visit us yearly to discuss the investments and what they do and stuff. Normally it's a year thing. We've done it the last couple of years. I want to see if they're coming back again to speak to the council or to the Tollbridge Fund.
Well, they were here, I think, in the autumn last year. I think it was September, October time. But I can check back.
Yeah.
But I think they'd be happy to come in any time that you wanted to. I think they've been in at least, I think it was twice last year.
Yes, because we changed the fund itself. So
maybe we can get an understanding and an answer for what Councillor Anderson has said regarding the differences in the percentages.
My personal view is we don't get a great deal of deep analysis from them in terms of it's the performance is a performance, unfortunately.
And don't forget we're on a medium to low.
We are
session as
No,
well.
we're not. We're medium.
no medium high. Yes.
And I think we're medium high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got all that.
Thank you very much. Okay. Is somebody happy to propose that we receive and approve the report? Councillor Black and Councillor Breen is seconding.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to do that. Okay.
Yep.
Moving on to agenda item 7, that's drawdown request from investments. So the trustee is to consider a request from the interim RFO to draw down £30,000 from the STBF investments to top up the STBF account. This amount is within the approved budget of 65,300 that we've already approved for 25-26. Are there any comments, any questions on that request? If not, are we happy to propose?
Proposed.
And seconding. Councillor Ripley. Votes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Right, okay. So as this is the annual meeting of the trustee, there are a number of standing matters that we're now asked to review, and they run through from agenda item 8 to 16. So the first is a review of standing orders, terms of reference and financial regulations. And that's under standing order 5.c.iv or 4, 5 and 6. We're asked to receive and adopt the standing orders, terms of reference and financial regulations for 25-26. Are there any comments on those, or Councillor Fortescue?
Yes, I'd like to suggest a very minor change. So this is attachment 5, page 6, UY1, and I suggested that it might be the date, time and place of the meeting, as opposed to just a time and place of the meeting.
I'm happy to have that noted. Thank you very much. That's reasonable. Councillor Breen.
Yes, on page 70 or item 17 under the financial controls, under the proposed drafting for Y, it says responsible finance materials, services and the execution of works. Responsible finance materials. This
Sorry,
doesn't make sense to me.
sorry, Councillor Breen, which page are we?
We're on page 15,
And it was
item 17,
17.
and then redrafting under Y.
Why?
Oh, I've got my best facts on.
Which one is it?
It's the second.
Well,
in red.
Oh, okay.
Responsible finance materials, services and the execution of work.
And we're talking about financial regulation.
Yeah, so can you see that? So here, it's
No,
on
sorry.
page 15.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can.
Thank you.
So it's this.
Material services, the execution of estimated value in excess of.
So the question is, I
It's-
suppose,
what
does
are
that make sense?
Correct.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
What
mean,
are-
it's the terminology that is used. That's what I've taken it from the financial regulations template. I mean, if you don't want materials included, we could take that word out.
No, it's just a responsible finance materials.
Sorry.
Paperwork, surely, doesn't
It's
it?
the word responsible.
Yeah, responsible is the problem.
Anyway, we don't necessarily need to
No.
resolve it now. We
No.
just we do with checking next.
So responsible finance materials encompass resources and information related to ethical and sustainable financial practices. So it does mean something.
All right.
I don't know if that's made any better, but it certainly
Is
has
that
got.
defined in the document.
I've just done that as a Google search.
All right.
Could that be incorporated?
Are you happy to include an explanation? Or...
I can do.
Parentheses or whatever.
Sorry.
In parentheses or whatever.
I would like to make, I think if, and I'm sure these things have been thrashed out.
They have.
Other people have thrashed out. And I think that the further we move away from templates, the less good, because when things change, which they inevitably will,
Mhm.
we'll already have changed things,
Yeah.
and then there'll have yet another argument about how we change things
Yeah.
to accord with the way other external things have changed. And I just think the closer we can stick to templates,
Yeah.
the better.
I think that's a good point because actually there is an explanation available. So if anybody's really interested in drilling down into this, and it was the question was right, but actually there is an explanation available. So I think we should leave it rather than trying to add more and more text into something that should be a template-driven set of.
I'm happy with that, but as lay people, lay councillors reading something like
Mhm.
this, or the responsible finance or financial officer reading it, do people really understand the terms if they're going to comply with it? So
Okay.
maybe, there's a course for training or education or whatever.
I'm sure future councillors will collect us, Google, AI,
Yeah, AI is brilliant.
and find it.
Okay, so did I
Want
have
to die in the ditch?
No, that's thank you. It was a healthy debate. I think there might have been a second. Oh, it was Councillor Pennington.
Well, second motion.
Oh, did somebody propose it?
No.
No, not yet. So there was a question. Councillor Black was the arm or the hand I saw.
Yeah. I've got a total of 5 amongst these documents. First one is if you look at the standing orders, 3K. That's page 5 of the standing orders. I didn't think we stood at STBF meetings. That's what
We
it
don't.
says here.
We don't.
No.
We don't, so that's incorrect. The next one, that's on page 5, section 3K.
Freak.
A person will raise his hand and stand when speaking,
Yeah, so I'll take out and stand.
please.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next one I've got, and I'll rush through these as quick as I can, is, the next one is 20B of this, so let me find the page.
Page 17, is it?
Sounds something like that, yeah, 20B. I have no problem with ensuring that when councillors post items on social media in their capacity as established town councillor, the post is confined to fact. I start getting worried when the town council starts interfering in private email accounts and personal social media. I'm sorry, I don't think the council has any jurisdiction over personal social media and private email accounts, and I would like to have that deleted. It's the last sentence. It's a democratic system that we have, that we can say what we care to within the law, not within council.
So if I recall correctly, we have discussed this before at least once, if not twice, but I think the discussion, if I remember rightly, was around the fact that it was making sure that we were also aware that a line couldn't be completely drawn between the public face as a councillor and the personal profiles. And I accept the point you're making about restrictions when you're in the as a private citizen, but I'm almost certain we did debate this quite extensively again. So are there any other alternative views?
I do think there's something similar in the social media policy that the STC hold.
There is.
My personal opinion would be is to fact check before you post anything online with the town clerk. That's what I would suggest. That would be the better idea, because then if you do get it wrong, yourself, then you could be liable for, as we all know, complaints and bits and pieces on social media. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah. So I think as it's specific to facts, I think actually if you choose not to use a fact within a personal post, I don't see that the council should or could actually impose its jurisdiction on that.
Right. So how it's going to be amended?
Yes. How would you like it amended? Have you got a proposal?
No, I haven't. I said take the last sentence out.
Yeah, there was a case 2 or 3 years ago, you may recall, where I posted something about a planning issue as myself, not as a councillor.
Yeah.
I was reported to the monitoring officer. The monitoring officer said, "You're okay, it's your personal account."
Okay.
So I don't think that should be deleted. I think there should be something that just says, when you're posting in a personal capacity, be careful,
Be mindful.
Be mindful of your role as a councillor, something to that effect.
I would have no problems with wording like that, but it's that the attempt of the council to control my private email is not acceptable in a democratic society.
Are you happy to revise that, and have you got enough information to revise it?
So do you want me to completely reword that sentence? And
So the suggestion is that consideration should still be given to, what was the wording that you used, Councillor Wiles?
Well, I just change it to when councillors are using their private email accounts and personal social media, they should be mindful of their role as a town council.
Chair, we've all signed a code of conduct.
Exactly. We need to look at
Just
the-
clarify for social.
Sorry, let's just don't forget this is as trustee as well, so this is relating to the charity, so not as a councillor.
To my mind, Councillor Wiles' suggestion is
That's
acceptable.
reasonable. I'm happy to second that if Councillor Wiles is proposing that. We can take it to a vote and decide.
Can I just make a suggestion? Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Maybe it'd be a good idea for us as a trustee for the charity to bring a social media policy within the Tollbridge Fund as well as STC, or incorporate the STC one within the Tollbridge Fund. Because I don't think there is one for the Tollbridge Fund.
I think there is one for the Tollbridge Fund,
Right,
but it hasn't
okay.
been reviewed. So
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Well, we'll check that.
Yeah.
verify.
Because my personal
Yeah.
opinion would be if I'm doing council work or told this one work, I'll give my council emails. I wouldn't use personal emails.
No. Okay. Could we vote on that minor amendment from Councillor Wells? That's passed.
Yeah.
I think that's 2 down.
If we go to the financial regs, 7.8, before employing interim staff, the trust must consider a full business case.
Can we just get there first, if that's all right?
Page 121 of the rather voluminous notes.
121.
121 of the total package.
Oh,
I don't think there's a page number.
7.8.
Council reg 7.8.
nearly with you. Yeah, I'm there.
My concern is we should have at least a consideration of the business case. It depends what you mean by full. I would be reluctant to delete it completely and say before employing interim staff, the trust must consider a business case or an outline business case. I agree with the thing about if you're employing somebody part-time, 10 hours a week and so on, you don't necessarily need the full business case. I'll accept that.
Sorry, the reason I'd put that is because we've had recent incidents where obviously the RFO, we needed an interim RFO. We couldn't wait for. So that's what I'm saying. There isn't time quite often, and in such a situation where you've got someone in long-term sick, where we had the toilets without anyone to clean. So all these are interim roles, which I've had to do very quickly and at pace, and I wouldn't be able to have capacity to write a business case every time something happened.
Yeah. So would any of those decisions of employing anybody have been taken without a business justification?
No.
So I think it's a business justification.
That's the point, Mayor.
Yeah.
But we don't need a great long screen about it.
You need to, and that would include financial information as as the need itself. Okay. Okay with that? Yeah.
9.4, which is on the following page, I think. Any sums found to be irrecoverable and any bad debt shall be reported to the trust and shall be written off in a year.
In the year.
The first part, yes, happy with that. But are we really saying that every bad debt will be written off in 1 year? That strikes me as a bit excessive.
That's what's been there previously, and I didn't, pursue changing that. But obviously, if you,
I obviously wasn't on the case at the time.
that's all right.
I'm just questioning whether we should put it as a matter of policy. We will write off every debt.
I think that's a good point, because if there's a debt that can clearly be recovered in the future, then perhaps it should roll on for next year.
I think it should be considered to be written
That's
off.
exactly right.
I'm happy with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And the last one I've got, you'll be pleased to know, is 14.1. It really is. I take it we're making a lot of good progress in getting the deeds, title deeds, together. But have we still got a number? I know we have a number of gaps, but are we getting things come together with yourself and with property and so on?
Yes, so there have been reports to the committees.
Yeah.
There was a recent report that the property manager did
Yes.
that highlighted what was missing, and so yes, there is progress, but there is still work to be done.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Any more comments? If not, you happy to propose them, Councillor Black?
I'll
Sorry.
propose it.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, can I
Yes.
just clarify
Apologies.
as well, where we're talking about this, before employing interim staff, the trust must consider, do you want the business justification?
Yes, just a business justification
Yeah.
is the key thing, not a business case.
So just to be clear, before I can employ any interim staff, I need to ask the trust to meet, to seek my
No, I don't think
that's
that's correct.
I don't think that.
No, you would consider the business justification. You need somebody tomorrow, so you've got
Yeah.
a sound justification.
Yeah, that's-
And then you'd come to the next meeting.
and report to the,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not suggesting you have to come to a full committee
No,
and so on.
and it doesn't need to say that, it doesn't at the moment, so, yeah. Councillor Wiles?
Yeah, I mean, by definition, an interim staff member is replacing someone who's gone.
That's
So
right.
it's not
Yes.
you.
No.
So my view would be the town clerk makes that decision perhaps in consultation with the mayor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And
and then
reports,
report it.
reports back
Yeah,
to the next
that's
meeting.
fine.
But that's my thinking. It needs to be, at least we need to have some people looking, having a very quick look at it, saying it's needed. Come on, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Councillor Bax proposed, seconded, Councillor Marie. Vote on that. That's unanimous.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
One was abstention, Councillor Morehouse.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Agenda item 9, appointment of members to committees and any new committees. That's Standing Order 5C, VI and VII. This is to appoint members to committees for the ensuing civic year as follows. Finance Committee 9 councillors including the Mayor, Museum and Archive Committee 9 councillors including the Mayor. And the decision is to note and no further committees are proposed at this time. So if we could have a look at who we've got listed and see if there are any issues there. That's attachment 8. Item 9. Okay. So under Museum and Archive Committee,
Do we need to vote on that?
yeah, we haven't passed it yet. I'm just making sure that people are content that their names are included. So that's the key thing for me. So looking at Museum and Archive Committee, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got the 9, so that's 8 plus the Mayor. If we're happy with that, somebody propose. Councillor Black, seconding. Councillor Ripley.
Mhm.
And the vote.
Yep.
Unanimous. Thank you. So under the Finance Committee, it's 8 councillors and the Mayor, but we do have 1 vacancy there, so somebody might be really keen to fill that final slot. Councillor Marie.
Happy to if none other councillors want to.
Deadly silence. So I'm happy to accept the proposal from Councillor Marie, and are we happy to somebody to propose the new members with the 1 addition? Councillor Ripley, seconding, Councillor Mallet, and a vote.
I won't vote because I've.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Agenda item 10. And that's arrangements including legal agreements with other local authorities, not-for-profit organisations and businesses, standing in order 5.c.ix. To note that a review to be undertaken, the report to be produced to a trustee at a future meeting. And that's the same with agenda item 11, which is a review of representation on or work with external bodies and arrangements for reporting back, standing order 5.c.x. And that's again for a report at a future meeting. Do you have any updates on either of those?
No, I'm sorry, I don't, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any comments? And if not, are we happy to accept and note? Somebody happy to propose that we note them? Councillor Ripley and Councillor Marie seconding. Vote. Thank you.
Okay.
Agenda item 12, inventory of land and other assets, including buildings and office equipment, standing order 5.c.xi, and that's attachment 9 in the pack. I just had one question, Town Clerk. I just wanted to clarify on the land at the rear of former Castle Market, which is the car park.
Mhm.
Is it not a management arrangement, what did you see, or is it actually we've leased the half that is ours?
Leased.
We
It is
have
a
leased it,
Yes, yes.
which includes a management arrangement.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
and that's what's coming up for review in
that's correct.
February next year.
Well, it should be this summer, really.
Is it this
Yeah.
summer? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm losing
The
track.
deadline is next summer, next year.
Next summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments from anybody on the assets listed? If not, Councillor Anderson.
Yeah, I thought there was some doubt about who actually owns 2 Market Street. But there's some, possibly it's already owned by
So the land registry title is not correct at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a work in progress with the property manager.
So the situation is that for a long period of time, our assumption is that we do own it. It's just unfortunately the legal documentation hasn't necessarily been looked at any point in that intervening period. So that's what's being updated. So it is within the Sandwich Agreement that actually it features in there as being ours. So there's other documentation that would suggest that is the case.
what is the case, that we do own it?
We do own it, and that DDC lease it to a third party, and the rent is between DDC and the third party. So we don't have
And we don't
any.
get the benefit.
No.
That
No.
seems very.
Well, it includes the guild halls within the tariff agreement. So there's a lot of information in that agreement that's a good read at night. Any other comments on those assets? If not, somebody happy to propose them? Yes, sorry, Councillor.
I think with these assets and the STC assets, we need to bring these in much greater detail to both FGP and to this next finance of Tollbridge Fund, so that we can have absolute clarity about ownership and leases and everything else. So perhaps for the next meeting.
I think we have had a spreadsheet that was quite detailed at the last
There's a
meeting.
lot of work still to be done.
Yeah, there is, yes. And there's a lot of anomalies still to be ironed out. But certainly it's a work in progress. But you're right, those finance committees should be monitoring, they're monitoring and managing them. Really monitoring them. Okay, so have we voted on?
You haven't voted on that yet.
Somebody happy to propose? Councillor Wiles, seconding Councillor Black. And that's unanimous, thank you. Agenda item 13, which is attachment 10, confirmation of arrangements for insurance cover in respect of all insurable risks. Standing Order 5.c.xii to receive the insurance cover details in relation to for STC/STBF Zurich for main insurance cover, Beasley for art and civic insignia cover, BHIB for cybersecurity cover. Are there any comments on any of those insurance covers? Councillor Fortescue.
Could I ask about fire insurance? Looking around this room, I can't help thinking that this room could go up in flames in a matter of minutes. Now, I know we've got a smoke detector here, and presumably in other parts of the building, but I wondered if there should be some sort of risk assessment made as to whether or not we could improve the fire precautions in the building.
So we have had a fire risk assessment undertaken last year. So yeah, it was a refresher of one that had been done a few years ago. So it has been done last year. And the property manager, we've covered off anything that they picked up last year. So it's all up to date.
Yeah. And Councillor Breen and myself, because Councillor Breen was very inquisitive, did check some of the fire extinguishers in the last couple of days, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were serviced in the end of May of this year.
We've actually had to buy about
And some
6
new ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is active.
Yeah.
Fair question.
I've kind of raised that total issue of compliance, not just the kind of the fire, but the electricity, the gas, the lift, all of those things. Have we got the appropriate certification to verify that the systems are safe, especially for our staff to use because they're using them all of the time, but also for ourselves and for visitors. And the property manager it's a rolling kind of workload, but the evidence that I've seen so far suggests that he's up to date with it.
Thank you, that's helpful. Is somebody happy to propose each of those insurance covers? Councillor Fortescue and Councillor Morehouse is seconding. Vote. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Agenda item 14, subscription to other bodies. SO 5.c.xii. Trustees are, the trustee is to receive a report that includes a list of current subscriptions for 2025-26, and that's attachment 11. Are there any comments on that? Well, actually, there's only the one. So. Anybody want to raise any comments on that at all? Breakthrough communications? No? Okay. Vote. Councillor Wiles has proposed. Councillor Breen seconded. Vote. Thank you.
Yeah.
Agenda item 15, review of procedures and policies. To note that a review of procedures and policies will be undertaken at the trustee meeting in September. I'm happy to note that. I'll propose that we note it. Somebody happy to second? Second, Councillor Marie. And the votes that we note that. Thank you very much. And Councillor Carter's just joined us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Agenda item 16, date of annual town meeting with trustee 2026, SO 5.c.xvii. Town clerk to propose a date for the annual meeting of the trustee for 2026 after consulting with the new mayor. Report for the next meeting. The schedules for the ordinary meetings of the trustee are already adopted and agreed. Happy to note, we're not even been asked to note it, are we? Just
Yes, please.
like to note. Okay, happy to propose that we note it. Second, Councillor Marie was in quick. And a vote. Very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the energy review, sorry, the energy efficiency review for the Guildhall. So agenda item 17, attachment 12. And this is to receive a report from the property manager with an update on the projects for exploring energy efficiency at the Guildhall. Members invited to agree the expenditure of the installation and lighting improvements. And I just want to say this has been presented to the Finance Committee previously, and all members voted in favour of the recommendations within the report. And it was a very thorough report, is what we noted, and also passed on our thanks to the property manager for all the work he had done. Now that I've glossed it up, I'm happy to take some comments. Councillor Lars.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent set of proposals. The annual cost is 8,348, total saving 4,600 a year. So it pays for itself within a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's to be recommended, I think.
Thank you.
So is that a proposal? So
And Councillor, yes, we sneaked that one in. Councillor Moore has seconded it and a vote. If I'm happy to accept that. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Right, and nearly the final item. So partial exemption calculation report, agenda item 18. So the trustee is asked to consider a report from the town clerk that details a request to procure the services of a tax consultant to assist with calculating a partial exemption for VAT exempt activities in the Guildhall. So this report was discussed on 3 occasions within the STBF Finance Committee. It included inquiries being made with HMRC. The trustee is now being asked to approve the VAT work that's required on recommendation from the committee. Is there any more comments? Councillor Ripley.
Just a very brief comment. I'm very sorry I can't help with this because I used to be a VAT person. I used to work in VAT for many years.
Yeah.
And it's such a long time since I've done it. I think I'm completely out of date with it.
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
And I wouldn't have charged much. Yeah.
Okay, any other comments?
I think I commented before.
You have?
For things we are not charging for the VAT for the
Mhm.
high. So I have had a very brief look when Karen was still here.
Yep.
And when I went from the paper she gave in the last few years, we hadn't got anything to claim.
Mhm.
Which will cost us quite, I don't know how much was it, the auditing company called, yeah, 2,250
Yep.
plus VAT. I'm just thinking, it's a waste of money, so I don't think I would recommend to do the exercise.
Thank you for that. And
Yeah,
that point was made
Mm.
quite clearly, and that's what stemmed us off to go and inquire with HMRC.
Mm.
But when we took back the response and also the advice from the RFO at the time, she was very clear that she wanted that cover in terms of the VAT partial exemption. So we had 2 very clear differing views. I'm happy to propose this because I was on the committee meeting that actually approved it. If somebody's happy to second it.
I'm happy
Yeah,
to second it because
Councillor.
I think the VAT take a very strong line,
yeah, if you don't.
and even for kind of small amounts, it's really good for them to make examples of people
Yeah.
or companies or councils.
Or council.
So I'm in favour of doing it. It's a form of insurance policy.
Thank you.
I'm in favour of it.
Thank you.
If I
Happy
just
to
say-
vote.
If I'm happy to go ahead with it, can we actually suggest in future from now on, can we actually start charging VATs for Woodhall? We need to charge them because then we could, make it work.
We'll note that.
Yeah.
We're not going to make a decision off the
Yeah,
cuff in
yeah.
terms of that. That's
Yeah.
noted, and we can investigate that if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to vote. Thank you.
One against, yeah. One against, yeah.
Okay, agenda item 19, date of the next STC as STBF trustee annual meeting, and that's on the 22nd of September 2025. Meeting closed.
Oh, no, it won't be the annual.
No, sorry, you're right. Thank you.
It'll be
I
the
just read
trustee
it
meeting.
parrot fashion.
Yeah.
The next meeting will be on the 22nd of September 2025, and it will not be an annual meeting.
No.
It will be a standard meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Got to get it right. And we're closed at 7:40,
I'm impressed.
which is unbelievable.
I'm impressed.